He's throwing up a new robotics facility. It's the last one, as I mentioned, though we were watching the bigger battle. Was taken out by the Marauders of Andot just before it finished the range upgrade, actually. It's very sad. Twilight Council, he's researching charge here. He's building one forge. He's not built any other forges and hasn't started any type of unit upgrade so far. Let's see. Andot also has not started any infantry upgrades, so neither of their grand armies are upgraded. Looks like he salvaged that bunker up on the hill and has built a new one down here. Now, keep in mind, it's 14 minutes into the game, and both players look at their mineral and Vespane count. It's pretty solid. They've been using pretty much everything they have. XO giving a little LOL here as he loses his Colossus. He wins the battle, well, he wins the war, loses the battle, I guess we should say. He loses his Colossus, his big support unit, but he keeps the bulk of his forces. And giving a little question to that. Well, why are you laughing? Exo had quite a few probes rallied to this right here. As you see, they're all now out and about on the mineral field. But he has 2 fully saturated expansions. Looks like he's missing one gas, or one probe on one of the gases there, but that's it. Now look at this. He has over double, again, the number of probes to Andot's SCVs. He's just been chrono boosting them out pretty much the entire game. This is a really big example of Protoss macro. Just constantly pumping out probes. Every time you have enough to fill up a new mineral line, expand. It's a really good strategy that's really paying off for XO here. Now Andot has still not added any research to his Marauders. He has quite a few medvacs supporting them. And he hasn't scouted any High Templars out of XO here, which is good for him as feedback can really mess with medvacs. As well as, of course, Sidestorm, just in general being very great versus the ground force. Though Templars can be countered, yet counter ghosts. They can feedback ghosts, but ghosts can EMP them, so it comes down to a little bit of a micro battle generally, and it's really whichever player gets it off first. Now here XO expanding, he's supply capped himself here at 166. He has quite a few resources pooled, so when any push he makes fails or goes awry, he'll be able to pump out a new army. Now both armies fairly equally sized here. Andot stimming and trying to kite the zealots as much as possible. Resource lines just very saturated right now. No real advance made here. Both players lose a few units. Andot kind of backs up to his natural. No real damage done. Just a little bit of a mild skirmish. Here comes XO's Colossus. He's going to give some good support here. Now watch him block in that entire group of Marauders with his sentries so they cannot run away and get eaten up. Now we see that Andot lost, let's see, 9 Marauders there, it looks like, in that little push, due to some great sentry placement there. This Planetary Fortress making it a little bit difficult to push in, providing some great support here. An EMP has gone off and knocked all the shields off of them. There's a few ghosts pushing back the army. And that Zealot isn't going to be able to get away, I don't think. Oh, it lives. Oh, that charges brashly into the line. Andot moving up, taking the opportunity, sees the Colossus out, stems up and takes it down. Great move by him. He's really good at taking the opportunity to snipe those off, as XO isn't really rallying those very well. Great place to rally is right up here on the hill, kind of hard to get to. Now he's going to make his push, now that he has 2 more Colossi up. He has quite a few warp gates, quite a few robo bays, able to resupply his army very quickly. Andot lifting up a ghost there that was about to die, trying to save it. Doesn't really work out for him. And XO making his strong push into Andot's base now. These Colossus just sitting back with their range upgrade and cutting down that barracks. This planetary fortress is still holding strong. Really, a really great example of how to defend your natural expansion. Planetary fortress is a great choice for your natural expansion, though you may be tempted to go with a um, orbital command. It's generally not a good idea in 1v1 games like this, as there's going to be a lot of pressure on your natural expansion. Exo with 4 Colossi, chilling up here on the hill. And not really having a hard time recovering here. He does have 5 barracks, but really not enough to rebuild as fast as the Protoss player can with all of these warp gates. Looks like he has 11 here, as well as 2 robo bays. Now he's upgraded his weapons to 1, he's working on 2, and he's going for that drop harass that worked well for him in the past. He's trying to take out that robo bay, and he's going to get it killed. You're going to do a little bit of damage to the Colossus, but it's going to run away and live to see another fight here. Now over at the main base, Exo is pushed in and has used his large army of zealots to take out that planetary fortress and finish up the game there, with 4 Colossi pushing up the hill and taking out the first barracks. And calls it GG, and that's the game. Now in this game we did see quite a few good things to take note of. We saw a really good wall in with the Sentry's force field ability that caught quite a few Marauders there. We saw Andot constantly on the lookout and trying to snipe off Colossus that came up to support the Protoss ground force. He did a great job with that. He took out the first 2. He did 2 good drops into Exo's base where he took out key buildings. Now out of Exo we saw a lot of macro, just constantly building probes. Every time he had enough probes to fill up a new mineral line, he would expand and throw them over there. He was up to 5 bases there at the end, almost totally saturated, excluding some gas there. He had 11 warp gates, it looks like, here at the end, 2 robos. He was a little light on the upgrades, but he used mass instead of anything else really to kind of win this game. He got a little bit of an advantage and boxed in Andot playing so defensively, using this great hill here to defend his natural expansion, but didn't get any other expansions. Ended up being a good game between the 2 players. A great example of Colossus and their effectiveness versus Terran ground forces, and with supporting Stalkers, Zealots, and Sentries, and the great use of Ghosts, Marauders, and Marines with Medvacs to have a really good, well-played game here. And that's that.